Hi Priscilla, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is that awesome brother machine. She's a beauty. This is the final test video in which we're also going to show you how to work the various controls in case the final recipient of this machine isn't familiar with it. And even if they are, we're going to be sharing the video online for others who have the same machine that don't know how to work it. So without further ado, you'll find your bobbin case under the needle plate down here. And in your bobbin case, you'll find the bobbin. We're going to wind the bobbin. But first, we're going to take the thread off. Sometimes annoying people don't take their thread off their bobbin before adding more, thinking that someday they're going to come back and use that 10 feet of red or green or orange thread, which of course they never will. Okay, put your bobbin on the bobbin winder, and there's a little indentation on the side here that corresponds to a little pin on the bobbin winder that holds it in place so the rubber tire spins it. Put your spool of thread on the spool pin down here, go into the bobbin winder tensioner, and then go through one of the holes in the side of the bobbin case from the inside out. Okay. In the middle of the hand wheel, there's a chrome knob, which is your clutch knob. You turn that a quarter turn towards you, and that declutches the hand wheel from the rest of the machine, so that when the hand wheel spins to wind the bobbin, it doesn't cycle the rest of the machine. Push down where it says push, and this little lever falls into the space in the bobbin winder, and as the thread fills the bobbin, it's going to lift this lever higher and higher and higher and higher until when it's full, it pops up automatically and stops winding. And of course, you can stop it at any time and pop that up yourself. So hold on to the tail of thread that's coming out through the hole in the side of the bobbin, and gently put a little pressure on the foot control. There's no reason to hurry. After you get a few wraps on the bobbin, you can cut off this tail. And again, no reason to hurry. The thread should wind evenly back and forth across the bobbin until it's full. Or stop it at any time. Since this is just for a test, we're not going to put very much thread on the bobbin. Move your bobbin, put your spool thread on the spool pins up here, and we'll get to winding or threading the machine in a second. But first, you want to reclutch by turning that chrome knob in the center of the hand wheel clockwise until it's snug. Pop up your bobbin winder, and you're going to want the thread to come off towards the right, off the top to the right, as you slip it into the bobbin case. And there's a slanted slot in the side of the bobbin case that the thread goes into, and then under the flat leaf spring. And that flat leaf spring is what adds the lower tension. When you insert the bobbin into the middle of the hook there, you want this little finger to point up because there's a cutout made just for that. And that's what holds your bobbin in place, or your bobbin case in place, so it doesn't spin with the rest of the mechanism. If you fold out this little lever on the side and hold it, it'll keep your bobbin from dropping out while you're inserting the bobbin. The bobbin case into the middle of the hook there in the bobbin race. Make sure it's in tightly. Sometimes you'll feel a little click when it seats. If you don't, just check and make sure that it's in there snug and it's not going to fall back out. And just toss your thread in there. Close the slide plate and you're ready to thread the machine. Put the spool on your spool pin, go into the rear thread guide, into the front thread guide, and down between the discs of the pressure foot. Beg your pardon, of the upper tension. As you come around, you'll pick up this check spring on the side here, and you'll pull it all the way up until your thread goes into the notch at the top. Then you'll go behind the big thread guide, through the hole in the take-up lever from right to left. And then down, pick up the first thread guide, the lower thread guide, and there's also a thread guide on the needle clamp. Then this needle threads from front to back. I like to cut a nice clean end on it, so I'm not fighting the frays. And a big help when you're threading the needle, if you're having trouble seeing the eye of the needle, put a piece of white paper, or in this case yellow, behind the needle, and suddenly the eye of the needle shows up bright and clear. There we go. Now, to pick up your lower thread that's on your bobbin, hold the thread from the needle and turn the hand wheel one full turn towards you. See, it pulls up a loop of the bobbin thread. The needle thread goes down and the hook picks it up, wraps it around the bobbin, and when it comes back up, it's carrying the lower thread with it. Go between the teeth of the presser foot, well, between the toes of the presser foot, and to the back. Brought a nice piece of fabric to test on. We're going to take a piece of denim. This is fairly heavy denim from a pair of Carhartt logger jeans. And if you've ever owned a pair of jeans, you know that they have pretty thick seams. Well, I've done some stitching on this piece already. There we go. So if you've worn jeans, you know that they have some pretty thick seams. This is like, I can't tell if that's 4 or 6, probably 4 layers of fairly thick denim. Put your fabric under the presser foot, lower the presser foot, hold your threads for the first few stitches until it locks in place. Hold your threads. right up on that fat seam. And we're going to sew right down that seam. So this little dial over here is your feed drop. That's for the teeth of the feed dogs that move the fabric. This has two settings. This has a setting for silk, which is the teeth don't come up quite so far and they don't grab so aggressively on the fabric, so it doesn't scar your silk or your other delicate fabric. Or you go all the way counterclockwise to darn, and then your teeth drop all the way down and the fabric does not move by itself. And that's so you can move the fabric for machine embroidery or darning or patching or whatever. All the way clockwise is for normal sewing. This is your stitch length dial, and 0, it doesn't go anywhere. As you go up to 1, 2, and 3, and 4, your stitches get longer and longer. So for regular sewing, set it somewhere around 2. If you're sewing heavier things, you want to go to a little longer stitch. If you're going to sew leather, garment leather, you'll probably want to go all the way up to 4 and use a leather needle. This is your stitch width. So unless this zigzag or the stitch width lever is moved away from 0, you're going to straight stitch. But as you move the lever to the right, it zigzags wider and wider and wider until your widest width, of course, is at 5. Up here, you may want to hunt down some stitch pattern cams on the net somewhere. eBay is a good place to look, or there are a few places that specialize in stitch pattern cams. This one is just kind of a place saver. It says it's for zigzag and straight sewing, and it really doesn't do anything. It's just sits there and keeps place. But that's where your stitch pattern cam will go if you decide to hunt those down. This is your tension assembly, and usually you're going to want your tension to be around 2 or 3 for regular sewing, a little more for heavier fabrics or less for lighter fabrics. This is your sewing foot pressure adjuster, and this is marked on the top, so this is really easy. Your choices are silk, cotton, linen, wool. I think that says coating, but I can't really tell. And darn. Yeah, just my eyes. It's not a problem with the dial. It's nice and clear. So, we've been sewing on straight stitch. I'm going to, with the needle up out of the fabric, I'm going to move the stitch width a little bit, so it's going to start to zigzag, and more for a wide zigzag. That's about it. Just for fun, let's double this fabric. So we're sewing 4 layers over on the regular part and 8 layers on the seam. I'm going to go for a long stitch width for this, 0 for, long stitch length, no stitch width. Yeah, that's it. Hold your threads to get started. And we're going to go up on that fat seam. And right down that fat seam. So this is a good heavy duty machine. It'll handle just about anything you want to sew, from lightweights and delicates to some heavy duty stuff. So I hope that this works out for you, and that you bond with her, and she can, with proper care, she'll sew for you for the rest of her life, the rest of your life. So this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine. If you're coming to this video from somewhere else off the internet, maybe, you can find us at stagecoachroadsewing.com. We're on Stagecoach Road, so it's stagecoachroadsewing.com. And there you'll see hundreds and hundreds of beautiful machines that we've restored over the decades, and you can go to each one and see multiple views of each machine from all the way around, see a little bit of information about each one. And there's usually 15 to 30 machines on there that are available for sale right now. So stagecoachroadsewing.com, come by and see us, and thanks for watching.